Still in the news, it is 9 days since the Presidential Election Petition Squad delivered judgment on separate petitions filed by Nigeria's opposition People's Democratic Party, Allied People's Movement, and the Labour Party, challenging the victory of President Bola Tinubu. The presidential candidates of the Labour Party and People's Democratic Party say they will be appealing the judgment. However, only 5 days are left from a 14-day window given by law to file their appeals. As marvelous Bowman files in this report. And of course, we'll bring in the package subsequently. But to, of course, shed more light on this, we are joined by public affairs analyst Emmanuel Owabor from Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you so much for your time, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, if you can hear me, let's get straight to it. Let's start with your take, concerning the verdict, of the petitions tribunal generally. While some greeted the outcome with, some sort of critical acclaim, others, see it likewise. But what is your position on this, generally?
Well, like I said, sorry about the network glitches earlier, but I think my own take is that it shows that democracy in Nigeria is maturing and taking its due course. I mean, democracy, as we know, it is about 24 years in Nigeria today. Contrary to what everybody had thought, that there was this kind of fiasco that there's going to be uprising at the end of, by the time the verdict was given. But as you can see, that some element of has stepped in by the parties involved, now agreeing to go with the rule of law. Although they have not appealed yet, but we believe that they are going to appeal. But in my own submission, I believe that this current judgment shows the maturity state of democracy in Nigeria right now. Thank you.
All right, Emmanuel, what do you think this particular verdict, how much of an impact do you think it will have on Nigeria's democracy in the future, particularly when it comes to elections and electioneering?
The judgment, as it's well at the moment, to me, has restored hope to the common man that the judiciary is a place to go, both for the winner and for those that are alleging that they won. I mean, you saw the fine job that the justices, led by Justice Haruna, an 800-page judgment that took over 12 hours to read, that was well detailed, line by line, addressing the issues in details. So, I mean, except for sentimental reasons, it is clear that the judgment was well placed, given the fact that we're on ground at the moment. So I think it restores hope that the judiciary is respected by the common man. Thank you.
Emmanuel, I will stay with you on the judiciary, right? Right now, for quite a number of people, they feel that they might feel differently about, the eventual pronouncements. But what do you think this places, our judiciary in what kind of context? Do you think that this petitions tribunal has further strengthened the confidence in Nigeria's judicial system or otherwise?
At this point in time, the response to this is going to be determined by where you belong. The parties that have sued, the APM and the Labour Party, regardless of what it is, even as crystal clear as the tribunal has made it clear that His Excellency Bola Tinubu won this election, they are not going to take that. They're not going to take that. But if you look at it, devoid of any form of sentiment, following how the judges took the matters, each of the cases that was presented to them, and each of the alleged matters that was raised, how they analyzed it and gave their judgment, you will agree with me that it is detailed in every sense of it. So if for political reasons or interest, any other person feels indifferent, well, it shouldn't mean to say that the judiciary didn't do their job. They did their job, and I commend them for doing that.
Now, till now, we understand that some experts too, have argued that a winner shouldn't have been declared. Pending the time you still have, petitions, at the tribunal. That all of the, tribunal process should have ended before we now have, official winners across board. Do you also share that sentiment?
Well, I don't share, unfortunately for them, I don't share in that sentiment. Nigeria is a country that has a constitution, that has its laws, that has its way of doing its things. If it was contrary to the law or the constitution of Nigeria, I'm not sure the swearing will take place in the first instance. But if the constitution have not said anything otherwise, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, I don't think there's anything wrong in carrying on the process while we have the rightfully declared winner and swearing president is on seat while the tribunal is ongoing. I mean, that is my own submission on that.
All right, Emmanuel, I'm going to ask you two questions in quick, succession before I let you go. Now, till now, the opposition hasn't formally filed an appeal, at the Supreme level. Now, what do you think could be the reason for this? And then number two is, what do you see as the eventual outcome of this appeal? Should it, sail through eventually?
Well, the opposition, they have not filed, doesn't mean the timeline is still much available. I believe they have about 60 days. This is just less than 2 weeks after that judgment. So they have a lot of time to still put this thing, to put their thoughts together. And going by the initial judgment, you could see that most of their cases didn't hold water. Maybe perhaps they could be trying to do some more homework, which I feel to me is a complete waste of time. I believe the judgment was clear, and with the evidence that was provided, the judges did a good job. I don't think there was going to be any difference even when it gets to the Supreme Court. I believe that the Supreme Court will uphold what has just been declared at the tribunal level. So it's what I believe. There's not going to be any difference.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Emmanuel Owabor, Public Affairs Analyst.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dapo. Thank you.
All right, still on this particular story, we have Marvelous Bomano who filed in this report.
The premises of Nigeria's apex court in the coming days will be busy, as the justices of the Supreme Court will be entertaining the appeal of the opposition Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, and that of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar.
The clock is ticking, and the legal counsels to Nigeria's opposition Labour Party and People's Democratic Party needs to file their processes of appeal at the Supreme Court before the 14-day window comes to an end. There are some Nigerians who are of the opinion that the appeal is needless, while some others are asking if the Supreme Court can do anything different. We're here on the streets of Abuja. Let's find out.
I don't think there will be any difference from what the tribunal has given, because we believe that judiciary, they are all one, and they have been involved in so much corruption all these years. We don't believe in them. So we are not expecting any difference from what the tribunal has given from what the Supreme Court. To me, I will ask them not to spend their money going to Supreme Court.
The rest of the opposition parties should just accept the failure, because we are all Nigerians and we know what we are up to, we know what we are capable of, you understand? Like, for instance, if somebody hold a knife with the handle, it would be difficult for someone to cut the knife from that person's hand.
Going to Supreme Court is within their rights. But as Nigerian factor, I don't see Supreme Court doing anything different. The only thing the Supreme Court will correct is the issue of 25% in the FCT. They will know that if they don't correct it, it will bring an issue here.
Some Nigerians think the Election Petitions Court ought to have sanctioned the nation's electoral umpire for derailing from its guidelines.
How will they get punishment? The government is in power. It's what they worked for. So where will the punishment come from? Everybody knows the flaw. The flaw Nigerians, they fall our hand. Let me put it that way.
While many think not much can be achieved from any appeal to the apex court, there are others who think otherwise.
I could remember in 1983 election, during Adegboye Ajashin was given to Owabor. Adegboye Ajashin went to court and he obtained the from the court, even though the lower court denied the election. He still went to the High Court, which is the Supreme Court, the highest judges in Nigeria, and he obtained the election, and he won. At the end of the day, he ruled in Ondo State for good 4 years. So he still has the chance and the opportunity so that he should proceed and go ahead.
The battle at the Supreme Court presents another chapter for those who think the elections did not pass the test of credibility. Nigerians will be following keenly, as many know that this presents a last chance to contest the disputed polls. Marvelous Oborman reporting for News Center.